You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back. It is episode 139. Mike and I here coming at you. Let's go quick weekly schedule / wrap up, and then go into what we got today, Mike. Yesterday, Monday, June 2nd. Mike, I can't believe it's already June, man. It feels like we just talked about posting season, April 1st. Let's go. It feels like it was just yesterday. It's crazy. You got down to Shoregate. You played the fifth hole. The par 5 ninth hole at Shoregate, which is a mammoth par 5, Mike, 616 yards. I don't know how you did that, but good for you for getting down there. So if you didn't go check that out yesterday, make sure you head over to YouTube, Instagram. Go check it out. It's over where all of our stuff lives. Today is June 3rd, episode 139. Mike, wave to the people. How are you? Make sure you like, review, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Wherever you're watching, listening, or hear the sound of our voice, we really appreciate that. Tomorrow is the 4th. I did not play much golf in May, Mike, but I was able to get out to Shark River, and I played the 7th hole. It's a par 3. It was playing 124 yards that day, and you'll have to wait and see how that comes out. I'm not going to give you any updates on that till tomorrow. But Mike, I did want to say this, and I was kind of figuring hey, should we make this a topic point or whatever? I just want to go quick little asterisk here. Shark River. I know that I knock it a lot. I need everybody to understand that knocking is coming from a place of love. I do get there quite a bit, especially the early springtime. But also, it's in comparison to the other golf courses that we have. I think that Charleston Springs, Hominy Hill, Howell Park are 3 of the best public tracks that we have. Is Howell Park competing with Ballyowen? No. But if you were putting a list together, the top 25, I think that you could have those falling right in there. I really do think that. And I think that's so I think when I knock Shark, it's in comparison to the other courses, because Shark's really not an awful dog track. You're going to get a good round of golf. It's in good shape right now. It is it's a real golf course with real thoughts and feelings. No, it's a big boy golf course, and I just wanted to say that when we are in comparison to Howell, Hominy, Charleston, it's in comparison to those that it loses it for me. So I just wanted to make sure, kind of give you that caveat of it's a nice golf course. It really is. So I know I knock it a lot, but I just wanted to make sure that people knew I knock it in comparison of how good Monmouth County's golf courses are. And it's not a true knock. If you get a chance and you want to go have a nice round of golf, Shark River is more than getting the job done for you. So just want to give a little caveat there. Off topic, yes, but let's move on to Thursday. Thursday, Mike, you and I interviewed the 4-ball champs. We had talked about that. Sean Voles and Henry Bolster. I don't know what to say about them, Mike. They're 2 unknown guys from Canoe Brook that took down 2 friends of the show in the Wall brothers, Ethan and Jerry. And And so we had them on. It was really interesting to get to know them because they are, and I don't mean this as a knock to them, but they're two nobodies, right? They haven't made any noise in New Jersey golf at all. Henry's a high school senior going to play college golf, so he's got big things ahead of them. But as far as like their reputation preceding them, it's got some, it doesn't have any. There's nothing there. So it was good to get these guys on, see who they are, hear about them, hear, kind of where they came from really, and hear their story and the thought process and everything that kind of went on there. So they're on Thursday this week. And then Friday, we got another special. You kind of threw it at me late last week with what we got. And I think it came out pretty well. My 3 holes at Plainfield, holes 1, 2, 3. I wish I played better. It's tough to start with, hitting the green in 2 and then 4 putting for a double is brutal. But I will say, at least to be fair, I was at the farthest point from the hole that I could have possibly been on the first putt. So, I'll take a little solace in that. But nonetheless, we got another one from you. 3 holes in 30 seconds from you at Blue Heron Pine is coming out this week. So another, small content, but, we're trying to get them out and quick to you guys. So that is a recap preview of what we got going on this week, first week of June.
Today's episode is brought to you by All County Exteriors, your go-to for roofing, siding, windows, doors, and all things exterior home remodeling. As a third-generation family-owned company with over 40 years of experience, All County has earned the reputation for top-quality craftsmanship and service, far outlasting the industry standard. Whether it's a small repair or a full home upgrade, they serve both homeowners and builders across New Jersey. They're deeply rooted in the community, proudly supporting Make-A-Wish, St. Jude's, Roofs for Troops, and parents of autistic children. Thinking about a project? Now's the time. Get an instant 20% off for a limited time. Call 732-370-2780 or email them info@allcountyonline.com to schedule your free, no obligation consultation. That's 732-370-2780. All County Exteriors. Quality you can trust. Let's hit them with the fast facts. Here we go. PGA Tour recap / preview. At the Memorial, a nice finish for Max Greyserman, who makes the cut, one above the number to then bounce back in the final round, finishes T25. At the point where I was watching, Max was T47, borderline making cut. Before you know it, he fires a very smooth final round, gets himself right into a T25 finish. I know it's a signature event, so it's not a full field, and it's there's still a cut. But he did make it, did cash a nice little paycheck there, knowing that, the field is rather small. And then Scotty Scheffler just doing Scotty Scheffler-like things yet again. Just makes it even scarier in 2 weeks heading to Oakmont, knowing what this guy on a mission he is. I think Rory tried to kind of lit the flame a little bit for Scotty to get going, because since then he's got 3 wins, 2 top 10s. It's like scary his last 5 starts. So it's going to make for another unbelievable major championship upcoming.
Mike, I want to ask you real quick about the Memorial here. What do you think about, or what was your takeaway from Rory not letting Jack know he wasn't playing in it?
Listen, that bothers me. It does. I mean, but I can't lie. Rory's been this like enigma. There's something about Rory that doesn't sit well with me. I feel like how he handles something after being the guy, and now he decides he's not going to be the guy. And he gets all this advice from Jack leading into the Augusta, and now he's not going to tell Jack he's coming. I get it. Schedules are very important to these guys, and Rory likes to play the week before a major. Scotty doesn't. All these different things get combined into something, but not to tell the guy, listen, someone likes communicating more than me. It's me. I'd rather over communicate than under communicate. And the fact that this guy's not doing it to a living legend.
And not only that, it's not like they don't talk or they haven't really talked. Like you said, they talked quite a bit about going into the going into the Masters. So it was strange. So a couple of weeks ago, I said I didn't really take anything about him not. What was that tournament he wasn't doing interviews at Quail Hollow? At the PGA, right?
Oh, the PGA, excuse me.
Yeah, he didn't do any interviews, right? Coming off, and that I was like, I give him a pass. Like he's done enough interviews, and he turned down all requests for it or whatever it was, and that's fine. To me, it didn't bother me nearly as much as you, because I was like, it's not a pattern, right? He's been out there in front of the public, in front of the media, and you know what? Maybe there's too many people that don't understand the driver. The non-conforming driver thing. So he was just like, I'm not going to deal with that. Whatever the case, I kind of gave him a pass because it's not his usual behavior. Well, then this week comes and it's like, okay, we're kind of back there. So now there's maybe not back there, right? But he's something in his communication, which seems to be lacking. Yeah. Or maybe, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm still a Rory guy. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt a lot, but I will let you know that the antennas flared up a little bit when I was like, I thought it was interesting to not play in the Memorial. And I thought it was interesting to, again, not let your friend know that you're coming. Mike, that's like me going to the town that you live in. Hey, well, I'm gonna go have a nice dinner. We're gonna go have drinks beforehand, and I'm not gonna let you know that we're 2 minutes from your house. You'd be upset. I'd be upset if you came by my house and did that.
Listen, it'll be interesting this week at the RBC Canadian Open because he's in the field. Rory's in the field, and most of the times there's always that pre-tournament, I guess, conference. Communication
news broadcast news conference,
whatever. Something where he talks a little bit ahead of time. So I'd be curious to see if anything comes about, but I don't disagree with you there. It just rubs me the wrong way, and it has, and it just continues. So in the Canadian Open, I do want to say Chris and John are in the field. Max is not in the field, so best of luck to Chris and John up there in our neighbors to the north. Potentially the 51st state. As we get to the Korn Ferry Tour, a little recap here. James did finish T26. Not the best, but again, after missing a cut, finishing T26 never hurts. The one thing I did kind of find odd was Ryan was DQ'd. I never got the reason as to why he was. I do know he was hovering right around the cut line on Friday, and then all of a sudden I look back to see, did he make the cut? Did he miss it? And it says DQ, and I never got a reason why. I did try to contact him, but was unsuccessful there. But both are in the field this week. So best of luck to Ryan and James as they, get after it again at the BMW Charity Pro-Am presented by TD SYNNEX. Nothing beats those titles, boy.
I'll tell you what. How many sponsors do you need for an event? Holy cow!
And the last thing I got to bring up real quick in the fast facts is the LPGA Tour is down here at Seaview Bay. The ShopRite Classic is back. Nelly is in the field, coming off T2 at the U.S. Women's Open. Brooke Henderson's in the field. So best of luck to the ladies as they hang out here in New Jersey, bringing phenomenal weather this week.
Yeah. Mike, I know a guy who's going down to caddy for the event. So, they don't, I'm sure he's not going to get Nelly because, her caddy goes along, but I'm going to see if I can get some inside information from him, see what he's got to offer there. But Nelly didn't play in it last year. I don't think.
I didn't look up past results.
I feel like there was something when we were talking to Jeff about that, but yeah, I know Jeff, our guy Jeff Carswell down there has been working hard, behind the scenes to get the course ready and deal with the PGA or the LPGA and everything. So best of luck to everybody down there. It is really cool that we have such a great event at such a great course. So.
And that's it for this week's Fast Facts, boys and girls. Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Or the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Galloping Hill has 18 holes of championship level golf open all year round. They also offer a top 50 in the country learning center that also includes the swing suite at Galloping Hill for those bad weather days during the season, in addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country. Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastro pub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the course. Hosting over 150 golf outings and over 400 social events per year, their catering team wins awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. To top it all off, Galloping Hill will be hosting the New Jersey Men's Public Links Championship for the record 12th time. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill.
All right, Mike, then let's jump into our topic sheet today. I am really, really interested because, again, let's lift up the curtain for everybody here, kind of show them what we got here. Every week, Mike and I have a topic sheet, right? It's got some of our ad reads that we have on there. It's got, what needs to go where, things that we got to talk about off camera, right, that we've already discussed. And Mike has in there, as one of them, it says Shoregate Golf Club, arrow to the right, hot take. So, Mike, talk to us. What is this hot take? Tell us about Shoregate. Let's get into it.
Listen, let me tell you this. I know you and I got to play there a few years ago, and this is dating us back probably, God, maybe episode 16 or 17, because you and I record it while we're out there playing, if you recall.
I remember it was an utter disaster, yes.
Yeah, but we did it.
We tried. We were trying something.
We did it. And
we'd be better suited now, I think.
Yeah, probably. And if you recall, that stretch of 13, 14, 15 being out there was like, the bunkering was amazing. You and I were just like, it was kind of in its own little corner of the property. We were like, this place, these 3 holes. But let me tell you this.
That little corner, it was like a little alcove, right? Of the
little property. Nook. Yeah, like a little nook back there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm pulling up the map right now.
Yeah. I will say this about Shoregate, because number one, I know everybody always asks about price. Price matters, and we bring it up constantly. I played with my daughter on a weekend afternoon at 2:00. It was $100 with a cart. Now, okay, I did look at other times throughout the day. If you wanted to play earlier, obviously there's a little more money. But as I feel like I've been saying on repeat, every round of golf is probably $100, give or take, right? That's the going rate with a golf cart. So to me, I was like, okay, price-wise, this fits right where the everyday person is going to be paying when they go out and play. Okay, that box checked. I can live with that. Let's talk about the conditions of the golf course. Unbelievable. Okay, now granted, it did just rain the day before, but when I say that the greens on this golf course was a damn near a private facility, you have no idea how fast these greens were.
Wow.
I was blown away. And if you saw some of the pictures that we put out yesterday on the carousel, this place had Union League National vibes written all over it. The bunkering, unbelievable. The greens, unbelievable. Fairways, unbelievable. I don't even know what the way the water was in terms of how it just kind of stuck its head out here, stuck its nose out. Listen, you want to talk about hidden gem. And I know we always are talking about the Nishanics and the Ballyowens and the Francis Burns. Well, I'm going to say this to you right now. My hot take is Shoregate is a top 3 public golf course in New Jersey. Shoregate, and I say this because I tried even connecting with the people at Shoregate and I was denied. So this is not a paid ad read. This is not someone putting money in Mike's pocket. This is from a full-blown independent voice. Shoregate Golf Club is a top 3 public golf course in New Jersey.
Wow.
It has everything that you want. You stand on a tee box and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Then you play the hole. Fairways, crisp, clean, not wet, not beat up. You get in the bunkers. Not only do they look great, but then you get in them and it's like, wow, well raked. Good, like, sometimes you complain about no sand, too much sand, the perfect amount of sand. And then the greens, man, fast, pure, no bouncing. I will say this, that place, simply unbelievable.
That's a bold statement, Mike. Bold statement.
Right. I'll say this. If we're going to put grades on certain things, and you're going to get into this rating system for us in a second here, but if you're going to say that Ballyowen is the best, and the best gets 100, right? The 100 is that's the best. And then for me, I know you may vary at times. I got Francis Byrne like number 2, right? Number 3 on my list is Shoregate. And I'm telling you this, Shoregate is a 95. Shoregate is a 95. It is that damn good. And I know people may not want to venture to Ocean View, New Jersey. But I'll tell you this, when you drive in and you're like, where the hell am I going? And you go into this little dead end road and all of a sudden you pull in, it's like, wow, grass driving range, chipping area, putting green. They got it all there.
Yeah. Mike, I remember when we went down there, and I've often thought, and again, I don't have as good enough memory of it. Top 3 is a bold statement, but I will say it was in immaculate conditions and a great call that it gives off Union League vibes, because that's a good way to describe it. Again, thinking back now, going like, oh yeah, there was that one hole where it was just sand and then the sand ran into the water. It was like a cliff that it was on. Yeah, that's a good call. Bold take for top 3, but I would agree with you that I think Shoregate, if we were to have to rank public courses like that, I think Shoregate is a absolute top 10, maybe top 5. You're saying top 3. So that's bold.
Here's why. And I know we talk about what else is in that area, right? You talked about Neshannock, and I think you and I had the conversation when we played with Neshannock. For me personally, it's too much back and forth. Yes, the 9th hole on each one of their 9s is very good. Don't take anything away. But every other hole, I said to you multiple times, I feel like I'm going one way. Okay, I feel like I'm going out, and I feel like I'm coming back, and there's nothing to it that got to me, right? Heron Glen, we played it in very tough conditions, but again, very similar in terms of like going out, and I think you even mentioned it. It's giving you Neshannock vibes out there, right? Going out, a couple good holes, like 9, 18, in great condition. I can see why it's always in the top 10.
Yep.
But on every single tee box standing there at Shoregate, I was like, wow. And it isn't so much of the wow, it's now the course conditions meet or exceed the wow. And that's what separates it for me.
I think that when you get a public facility that has, like you said, country club conditions, I think that's going to go a long way for a public golf course. It just is, because there's so many that aren't going to get country club close, at least. So if you're saying it's close to a country club, that's pretty solid.
I want to share a text with you with what I got today.
Okay.
Well, yesterday, I should say.
Is
Monday,
this about
I got this
Shoregate?
text. It's about Shoregate.
Okay.
So after the carousel went out, I got a text. It says, Shoregate, ... most undervalued public golf course in the state. If it was private, you could host any tournament there. Now, people are going to say that's insane. But when you pull up Shoregate and you try to play there from the tips, okay, from the tips, you're talking over 7,200 yards with a rating of 74.2 and a slope of 150. That is a big boy.
That's a big boy course. But we said that when we were there, Mike. Like, they do host things, or at least they used to, and we don't do enough gap stuff. But maybe they're more active in the gap. But it was for sure, and it's 1,000% something we said there. It's a big boy course.
Yeah, big boy everything there, and that is right up my alley. And my hot take is that Shoregate is a top 3 public golf course in the state of New Jersey.
Okay. So you got Ballyowen, Francis Byrne, Shoregate.
Amen, brother.
All right. We are certainly going to have to put that together. I assume that you're going to fill out the course sheet there and put an actual number to it?
So
Not
my
just
number.
randomly give it 95s.
So when I think about it, I think that's where I look at a couple different things, but I think your system covers it all. And I think that's what's important because I can be very, narrow-minded one way in terms of what I'm looking for in the golf course. But everybody's not Mike Poro, and I get that because I've gotten in arguments with people through DMs about, well, you talking
I would argue
vibe?
nobody's Mike Poro.
Well, quite simply, they don't make them like Mike Poro anymore. I will say, because I got in arguments with people like, are you talking vibes? Or are you talking golf course? Are you talking conditions? Or are you talking about, everything else outside of it? Are you talking range? Are you talking extra facilities, amenities? What?
Yeah.
So to your point, a guy like me would need to really fill that out because I look at the golf course and I'm basing it off course conditions, the price, and for me, everything else kind of just everything else.
Gotcha.
But to your point, yes, I do need to fill that out, which leads me into this. Dr. Mike Pomacala at Sports Solutions Physical Therapy and Performance Development is located in Middletown, New Jersey. A Titleist Performance Institute medical practitioner, Dr. Mike uses a hands-on approach with his clients to get them out of pain and back onto the golf course. No pain, no problem. Assessments are available for golfers looking to improve flexibility, power, strength, stability, and overall efficiency with their golf swing. Don't let dysfunction disrupt your swing. Schedule an evaluation with a TPI physical therapist and check out Dr. Mike at sportsolutionspt.com and on Instagram at sportsolutionspt. Because the rating system is something I think of value. And I think when people hear you and I talk about what this system is, I think hearing it from you, the designer, the creator, the founder of the golf course rating system, I think it's important that you share with the people what these numbers are and where they're coming from.
Okay. So, Mike, I guess I'm going to go history on you, and I'm going to go that we originally started this with we need to come up with a way to rank courses. And we originally were trying to get the score out of 100. So we were trying to make it, you got 10 points for this, 10 points for that, 10 points for another, right? Adding up, perfect course, Pine Valley is getting 100, right? So that we kind of came up with these categories, right? And I got them pulled up here, that we came up with the course conditions, pace of play, course maintenance, the difficulty of the course, the practice facilities, that's driving range and putting green, the pro shop, food and beverage, the accessibility / organization. Now, a little bit different because things are a little more accessible to you and I through this podcast. Not everyone's able to get onto a country club, but you can also tell like how organized the people are at a place like that, right? Like the difference of production at a Baltusrol compared to I don't want to knock anybody, but fill
Shark
in.
River? You're going to put it?
No. I'm looking for another country club. Looking for a country club, like a country club
don't
that's
name that. Don't name that.
that's singly owned. Just one family owns it. They started a club. Like those are different production values, right? In a golf course, and it's not saying one's better or worse, but it's just who their clientele. The clientele at Baltusrol wants everything in place. They want the salad fork, the dinner fork, the butter knife. They want all these different things, right? And everything's lined up. Whereas at some places they're a little more casual, like, oh, here's your burger and your beer kind of thing. So that's why we kind of slashed it, right? Then we have on-course vibe and then personal opinion. Now, that was a nice way to do it. Out of 10, everything got it. You got to a point. The problem with it was, and it was last year, and as I said a week or so ago when I was playing around with this, the problem is that you and I don't always see all of that. we don't always get to the course before and see the practice facilities or see the pro shop really. Sometimes we go on Monday, pro shop's closed. So we just kind of take a peek in and we go, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of looks like this, right? Looks like we can kind of give it, this kind of a score. And for us, I felt like we were doing it a disservice. So this year we've changed it. We now made everything is still out of 10, but instead of doing it out of 100, we're doing an average. So the course condition, you gave it a 9. Now the total rating score is a 9. Then the pace of play, you gave it a 10. Now its score is a 9.5. So we have an average now of all these 10, and I do think that this is a better way to go about it. So we have a more traditional, it's not out of 100, it's out of 10, but like we can give it a 9.56 because all of these things add up. So that's what we're going with this year. I do think it's better. I do like the average of it better because now we can take out things like if you and I don't hit balls or really roll any putts before, prior we were just looking at it and going, okay, they got a driving range. It's pretty big. You got some grass there. Okay, let's give it, 8.5, let's say. And just that, again, that felt like we were either shortchanging or not being really honest with our ratings because we didn't really use it. So now this gives us the ability to, hey, we didn't hit the range before. We're just not going to give it a score. Or we didn't have anything to eat or drink there because the halfway house was closed and we didn't stay to have anything afterwards. So we can just get rid of that score by just not giving it a score. Didn't give it a 0. It's just an NA. So that's what we got now. As I said at the top, I played golf once in May, so not really filled out. I think it's going pretty well so far between Plainfield, Heron Glen, Tidewater, Caledonia, and Rock Springs are the 5 that I've rated, and I feel like they're pretty where they should be. I would think so. That's what I got, and that's what we're going with, and we'll go from there and go this summer. See what we need to adjust for next summer, if anything. Maybe we figured it out after 3 years. I don't know. But that's what we got. I know that we had talked a little bit about it and said that we're going to come back to it. So there we go. That's the course rating system. It's a Google sheet that we got. And, maybe we'll throw some screenshots or some pictures or stuff out there at some point. But that's what we got moving forward there.
No, I like it. It's well done, and I think it's important that people get to see the specifics in terms of what you and I look for when we go to different spots. And boy, oh boy, you didn't play any golf in May, but I'll tell you what, I looked at the calendar, and your calendar is loaded. I checked with the scheduler. Boy, oh boy, you better get your 10 to 12 hours of sleep. You better get icy hot in your back pocket. You better get multiple socks ready to go, shoes, shirts. We're packing the bag and traveling this month, buddy boy.
We got a lot that we're packing in, but we've said summertime's coming and we are going to be hot out there on the golf course. So it is my New Year's resolution that I came up with about 2 weeks ago to make sure that I fill that out. And we're going to be solid with it because we need to be. It is something that we've had people ask for it. And it's really, Mike, we're getting a little bit bigger than, hey, you know what? It's kind of better than this course, but it's not as good as this course. So you can rate it like that, but that feels a little too junior varsity. So that's the course rating system. Speaking of course rating systems, Mike, how about that for a segue? That's 2 for 2. Golf Digest came out with their top 25 private courses in New Jersey. If you did not get to look at it, just, Google top 25 courses in New Jersey, Golf Digest. It should be the first article. It comes out every 2 years, I believe, Mike. Its new rating, I should say, comes out every 2 years. We had Stephen Hennessy on to talk about the rating system and how it works before. Did you look at this? What are your thoughts on it? Let's talk about it, Mike.
Okay, so it came out. And obviously the first text I did shoot was to Stephen Hennessy about when are we getting you back on to talk about this. And I'm hopeful that in the month of June, we can squeeze him in as a guest. Okay. He's open to coming back on. I asked him specific questions through text. And the one I really wanted an answer to was, what were courses 26 through 30 that were just left off? That's what I was curious.
It's a good question. Yeah.
When we turn into Big J journalists here, I figure I got to come up with some of those, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what people look at us as.
Okay.
His responses, when I'm on the podcast, I'll answer that.
Okay, good. So
another Big J journalist response. So I didn't get my question answered, but I did go through the list. Now, if you noticed in the list, there is only one new golf course out of the top 25 that was not in, and one that is no longer, or one that is in and one that no longer is in anymore. Mm-hmm. Only one, which I kind of thought was like odd that really we just kind of shuffled them around, but to each their own, right? So when you look at this list, Watchung Valley Golf Club is now number 25. That's the new, not ranked previous golf course from 2023. The one that's out is Canoe Brook, the North Course. That's no longer in, which makes me assume that like Canoe Brook's probably one of the first 5 left out, right?
You would have to think it would be 26, right? Because it just seems, it does seem like most of these, and this is the first time I'm looking at it, Mike, it does seem like most of these are flip-flopping.
Correct. And I think one of the things I had asked Steven specifically, and more on a selfish probably basis, is where are the likes of a place like Manasquan River, right? Where are they? And to his point, there's got to be X amount of raters at golf courses to accumulate X amount of ratings. So therefore they, in a sense, did not qualify for this, which then leads me back to last week's conversation that this is not a top 25 list because we're going it based upon having accumulated X amount of ratings. So take it for what it's worth. Then when you dive into the list specifically.
So I want to say something to that, Mike, because after we had that conversation, I was thinking about it. And I hear you that it's not the top 25 list. But it is the top 25 list because those are the courses that want to be rated. Those are the ones that are the top 25. The other ones, like if Manasquan wants to be on this list or they want to be considered a top 25 course, let the raters on. And either let them on like they're not letting them on or invite more raters. I don't know the necessary process, but
yeah, but it's a little easier said than done that a private golf course has to open their doors to these guys whenever they want. It's like, hey, listen, we're coming in town today. I don't really know if you understand how it works. Raters will then call you up at Manasquan River, for example. I'm not saying this happens, but it has, okay? And I'm not saying it's happened at Manasquan River. It's happened at other spots on this list where they say, hey, I'm in town. I'd like a foursome at, 9 a.m. on a Sunday. Can you get us out to rate it? And the members are like, no,
of course not.
Right. But that's, no offense, that's kind of what sometimes these raters
expect. So then we need to get more or different raters because that's not, now you're just like, it's almost like you're taking bribery money. It's like, hey, either let me out or we're not going to rate your course and it's not going to be in the top 25.
Right. So that's where I because I'll give you another, like due process, another, in my eyes, probably top 25 golf course not on there because they don't want people in there. So there are exceptions, and I get it. Some people don't want to be included in there.
So I think that makes this still like the official top 25 list because you might say due process, and other people might say like, yeah, the due process should be on there. Why isn't it on here? And if they don't want to, then they're not on the list. But this list is, I don't know how you can get more official than this list. That's all I'm saying. You know what? Yeah, I know how you can. You and I start playing and rating. We're doing our own.
So I look at the list and I don't know if I really have any beef with any of it. I don't. I mean, again, it goes back to like, I've played some, I haven't played others. I don't ultimately know, like, is this better than that? I don't. I can't really sit there and argue. I personally think that Ridgewood should be top 5. And I think it should be above Plainfield. That's
I'm
my
ju-
personal take.
just looking at that, and I would agree with you.
Okay, so like I think Ridgewood's really 5, and you want to bump Plainfield inside the top 10 and put it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever case, that's fine. I know I saw a million people argue and yell that Liberty National is 10. They can't stand the fact that Liberty National is 10. All it has is views. It's a terrible golf course, blah, 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 blah. How is it 10? I personally liked it. I know people even said something to me like, how do you like Liberty National? It's architecturally, it's a terrible design, but I
You're
don't
a
know.
views guy.
Right. So to me, like, it kind of hits different. Whereas like Hidden Creek, I loved the time I was at Hidden Creek. I did. I thought it was a really fun golf course. I thought it was really neat. There's nuances to that place, the logo, so many different things that I truly liked. Could I see it above other spots? Potentially. But it's hard to really argue because that list is so good. It's top golf course after top golf course, and you're really not going to get a bad experience
No.
at any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy, Mike. And I actually got Galloway on today, and that's the 9th. That's number 9. Last year they were 7, so they got worse this year.
Crazy to me.
And yeah, so here's the thing. Like you do start putting like, okay, that course is better than, like, I put that one in there, and you're right. Like I'd shuffle Plainfield back a little bit, but I would keep it ahead of, like, I'd keep it ahead of Liberty National. So in that aspect, like, and maybe that's what you mean in your, like, it's not a top 10 rate because you can kind of move them around a little bit. I don't know, but
I do have one question though for you looking at that list.
okay.
Taking Pine Valley out of the equation because it doesn't count. What's the one golf course on that list that you haven't played that you're itching to go play?
Lower. I think Baltusrol lower is pretty, like, I've kind of made it known, like I'm very titillated by that course because I've played 9 holes at the upper, but seeing that, being on property, it was one of the first golf tournaments I ever went to, 2000, like early 2000s, whatever tournament it hosted. You know, I was able to get tickets, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. So like my dad and I walked around the property, and just like, I don't know, there's something about Baltusrol for me that does it. And more so, it's not like I don't want to get to Somerset. It's not like I don't want to get to Bayonne, but for me, it is Balti lower, and really just Baltusrol in general, because I like the history. I'm a history guy, so that for me hits more so with like the clubhouse, the architecture, the, like, that's one that again is just, it just is for me. What about you? Is there one on this list that you're like, outside of Pine Valley, right? And obviously your desire to play Bayonne is well documented here too. So let's take Bayonne, because I would assume that's number 1 for you. Is there one on there that you're like, man, that's one that I'm going to try hard to get us to? Or
Well, it is one that we're going to.
Okay.
Essex County Country
Gotcha.
Club.
Yeah.
I've heard unbelievable things about the back 9 there, potentially being the best back 9 in the state of New Jersey.
We've had a couple people tell us that.
Yeah, 100%. So the fact that we have the opportunity in the coming month to go play there, to go experience there, to go film content while we're out there, while also previewing the state am, like, it is going to be an epic round, an epic day, and I hope my golf game is epic as well.
So I'll tell you, it jumped up 2 spots. It was 13 last year. It's jumped to 11. And Union League also jumped 2 spots from 15 to 13. And I'm almost done scrolling. But I think those are the 2 biggest risers on the list.
Yeah, there's not another. There's no one that rose
more than 2.
3 spots. Right. There was another one that rose, or was that the only? Yeah, you might
That's
be
the
right.
only 2. Some have jumped backwards 3, but
4.
but nobody else jumped up
Trump
2.
National.
I guess unless
Bedminster, the old
Watchung.
course. Trump National, the old course at Bedminster went from 11 to 15. That was the worst.
Right. So that's going the wrong way though. So
Correct, yeah.
so it's one of the highest risers. So people are buying what Essex County is selling, and it's a hot one now. So I think that's a great one. And as you said, we are going to be fortunate enough to get there this year. And if I look at the list, Mike, not only do we have some of these in our sites, but also we've gotten to play kind of quite a few of these, and like a sneaky amount that we're getting close to really being just spoiled brats with our with where we've gotten to play golf.
Do you know what's funny? When you look at their top 10?
Let me scroll down here.
Okay, you see their top
Union
10?
League. I told you that was going to be higher. It's so good. Loved Union League.
Okay, so the top 10. You see the top 10?
Yep, I'm at 10.
After the month of June is over, we have potentially only 1 out of the top 10 not played. Can you name that one golf course?
Bayonne.
Yep. The one I've been talking about since episode 3 of this podcast, and we're 139 episodes in. Can you imagine the fact that you got on Pine Valley, but you haven't got on Bayonne?
Well, I haven't. So anyone that's looking to take me to
Fair
Pine
point.
Valley
Fair
so that
point.
Mike
Fair
can
point.
sit down, we can talk about the experience together. But yeah, we got
It's crazy. A loaded June.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, then you add Essex County. That's going to be 11. We're going to be damn near almost. We'll be 10 out of 11 after the month of June is over.
So by the end of June, I haven't played Pine Valley yet. Again, someone listening wants to extend the invitation. I will gladly accept, and I will forego everything that I'm doing. Ridgewood, the composite. We talked about that. Are we going to get to play the composite this year? Are we going up for that day that they keep the composite?
We'll see. That's hard because they only do it like 4 or 5 dates, and finding dates that work for everybody is not.
And yeah,
as you know, it's not an easy task.
The scheduler has mentioned that a few times. Hollywood, not going to get Bayonne. I'll tell you, that picture of Bayonne though is incredible looking. It might be the best picture in the top 10.
All right, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's finish this thing on a smile.
So let's go. Let's finish this here, Mike. With I shouldn't say finish here, but we got to talk about the Mid-Am starting this week.
It's going on as we speak.
So
people are probably listening.
I will say I was caught off guard last week when you asked me who was my guy in this, right? Who was I really looking forward to? And while I do think Jerry Wall is playing some great golf, he's still on there. I think you were right with Troy. Troy's playing some unbelievable golf. I think we have 1 and 2 guys that we're going to see. Like if you want to, if somehow, DraftKings or FanDuel or something puts out some odds, and you were like, hey, let's put a couple shekels on some top 5s. I think you got 2 good guys for top 5s there.
I agree.
But outside of those, have you thought any more about any of these guys that are gonna make some noise here? Thoughts on the field? We now have tee times and who's playing when. So,
listen, I just think it's a loaded field. I know we harped on this a lot last week. I mean, I would love to see Austin go back to back. That'd be absolutely sweet. But I can only imagine how hard it is to defend a tournament. Nonetheless, kind of like a major championship in the state of New Jersey. And then you're battling with all these other guys. I mean, it is. I'll be dying to see. And I think the one caveat with this tournament compared to like the State Open or the State Am is it's match play. After you get through the stroke play round today, Tuesday, they go to match play for 36 potentially on Wednesday and 36 potentially on Thursday. They're going to have phenomenal weather, so weather is not going to be an issue whatsoever. No. And it's really, match play is just a different animal. it's a different animal. Your thought process, your mindset is all different. You're not truly protecting because you got to make birdies as we went in. You'll hear on Thursday about how we talked with Sean and Henry about like in four ball, you got to make birdies. Pars really don't do anything.
No.
And that'll be the same case for a lot of these guys if they make it through to match play. So listen, me, it'll be on one of my tabs. Refresh button will probably get smashed multiple times, and I'll be sending out a lot of DMs and texts. So if you win, I'm sure the first person you'll hear from besides your wife or your mom or your dad is me.
But yeah, I agree with you, Mike. We talked about like who's got a hot putter, and that's going to be the biggest one. And we just don't know these guys well enough and where their games are to know how they're putting currently. Who's got a hot putter? But again, to your point, I think Jerry's playing well. We've going back to our last week. I think Jerry's playing well, and you and I have watched Troy's putter be as hot as possible. So, it's going to come down to that. It is super loaded, and there's guys who are playing in the mid-am that are also trying to qualify for the U.S. Open. So it is like we're talking about guys that are playing high levels of golf in a mid-am for a state that, again, I think what makes New Jersey special is that we have such high level of golfers, high level golf courses for a state that you wouldn't think of as being a golf state. Florida, Texas, Arizona, golf states. No one, I would think people don't think New Jersey, and we're right there. This is an absolutely loaded field. So good luck to all those guys that are out there and playing, and we'll talk to the winner when they win. See who it is. Like I just mentioned, the U.S. Open. Again, we have segued. It took us 139 episodes, but we segued better in this episode than any other episode. We've done absolutely tremendously with our segues. Nobody's got better segues than we do. It's really been pretty good. Today is, I just mentioned the U.S. Open. Today is the longest day in golf, which
Yesterday
is
was.
Yesterday was. So while Mike and I don't know the results of it yet, Mike, do you have it up for us to talk about some of the leaders? I
do.
have to refresh, but I do as well.
Currently, they're taking 4. Now, we're talking strictly Canoe Brook because that's where they're at today. They're at a lot of other sites, but a lot of our New Jersey guys that are in the New York metropolitan area have gone to Canoe Brook, okay? And it's not that they get to choose. It's kind of where they get assigned. You get to ask. You have preferences of where you'd like to go. So there's 4 qualifying spots and 2 alternates.
So Mike, okay. Can I stop real quick? These guys have already played in sectional stuff, right? How many like New Jersey spots were there in order to get here? Can we?
Don't know. Some of them are exempt from local qualifying because they're on the PGA Tour. They're on the Korn Ferry Tour.
They got enough Wagger points or something.
Yeah, a lot of exemptions, a lot of different criteria that have gotten them just to final qualifying, which is what is going on today, which is why it's deemed the longest day in golf because at every spot, so for Canoe Brook, for example, they're only taking 4 players automatically get in, 2 alternates. And you got to play that out and rank them 1 through 6. Well, I shouldn't say that. 1 through 4 automatically, but I need to say who's number 4, who's number 5 or the first alternate, and who's number 6, the second alternate. Because if guys start dropping out, they slide up the ranks. So these guys that are right on that borderline of potentially in, out, have to hang out until the last putt is putted before they can say, I'm officially out. Now, if you're way out of it, it's a different story. But currently, as we're recording, James Nicholas, our guy is leading final qualifying at 7 under.
And I don't want to like knock on wood. He's leading by a bunch.
He's up by 2 over another New Jersey guy, Chris Goddard.
Another one of our guys.
Nothing would be sweeter to see 2 guys right here from our little area. I know James is a little north of the border there in New York, but nonetheless, 2 former guests of the show right now sitting 1-2. It'd be nice to see Chris get in the U.S. Open out there at Oakmont. Didn't get in either one of the first 2 majors of the year. Man, it'd be nice to see him get through to Oakmont next week and go play in that tournament. So there are a couple other guys dangling, but no one really in the area of making noise the way those two are, barring any crazy finale down the stretch. Those two should be a lock.
Yeah, with how many holes? I mean, coming into the back nines.
Chris has 2 holes left, and James only has 5 holes left.
5 holes left.
So there's some golf. There's some golf, but you got to think that they'll be able to hold on for one of those spots. James has a few shots to play with. Chris maybe has a shot to play with if he wants to, forget about a potential playoff. So listen.
But I'm going through and I'm looking. Everybody is on. Okay, these guys are on 9. Everybody's on the back. So it is winding down to where we're, call it 2 hours away from the end here. 9, 10. Yeah. Everybody else is kind of, we got a cluster there. So as we start getting closer, it looks like those two would get in. Hopefully they do. That would be huge. That'd be huge. That'd be amazing.
Fingers crossed. So when we come back next week, we can say we got 2 more dudes in the field with Max heading out to Oakmont.
That'd be great. I will say, I do want to give a shout out, and I'm not going to name names because I know they're probably disappointed on how they played. But just getting to this point is a huge accomplishment. And those guys that were there and didn't play as well as they wanted to, or their hopes of getting in the tournament were dashed, you still should be proud of yourselves for playing good enough golf to get there, because it's really hard to get to. And Canoe Brook's a really hard golf course. So, good for you for getting there. Little tip of the cap. I know you're probably sour about it, but good on you guys. Mike,
with one of those guys being one of Thursday's guests, Sean Vowles.
Yeah. So, and he talked about that he's, he said, we'll know by the time his episode comes out. So, good for them. Mike, you got anything else for today? That was a lot. We did a lot today. A lot in a little bit of time.
No, I do want to say this.
Yeah.
Go play Shoregate. You can thank me later.
I'll ask my scheduler to see if he'll get it into. All right, guys, that's it for us today. Stay tuned for our interview on Thursday with Sean and Henry. They won the 4-ball a couple weeks ago. Again, rather unknown names for New Jersey golf, but they got really cool backstories. And I think, again, just shines some light on all the possibilities we have here in New Jersey with the golfing community. So that's coming out Thursday. Till then, cheers.